Hello and welcome back to Bookmark Chronicles, and welcome to my second Christina C. Jones vlog. So we are starting with the Friends and Lovers duology. The first book is called Finding Forever. I started it last night and it looks like we're following Tori, who is going to end up in a relationship with her best friend's brother. I haven't gotten too far yet, but in the first chapter we're following Tori. She is the maid of honor at her best friend's wedding and she literally just met the love interest and he's being super flirty, so you can see where it's heading. But I'm excited to get back into this project. I feel like my reading has picked up now, so I think I'll have a little more luck this time around, and I'm excited to see where this series goes. So I'll continue to update y'all as I keep reading. I think I'll do 2 or 3 series in this vlog, maybe. Depends on how many books are in the series, but we'll see how far we get. I'm currently about 18% into Finding Forever, and I'm gonna stick with it, but I don't know how I'm gonna feel about it. We start off with Tori, and for whatever reason, she has recently gotten divorced but hasn't told her best friend, has literally told everybody except her, which feels very weird to me because if anything, I'm telling my best friend and no one else, right? So that feels weird. Probably some friendship things that are going to come up later. Also though, she is a matchmaker, and the guy that she ends up hooking up with, who is her best friend's brother, Avery, he is very wealthy. He owns like a chain of auto shops or something, and when he finds out that she's a matchmaker, he like flips out, gets super angry about it, accuses her basically of being a pimp and sleeping her way to the top. It was just like really weird, and if you know me, you know that I do not like when love interests are mean to each other. Like, that doesn't work for me. I don't find it angsty, I don't find it appealing. It just really turns me off to the relationship. So I don't like him right now, and I don't think that's going to change. Maybe if he grovels enough, but still not likely. So right now they're at odds. They're not talking to each other. She is just now getting ready to have the conversation with her best friend about the divorce and tell her everything, and I'm hoping that that works out. At this point, I care more about the friendship than I do about the relationship, so we'll see how it goes. Yeah, I don't know, weird start, but I'm in it, so we're gonna keep going. Hopefully it gets better. No promises on rooting for the male main character though. I feel like this is gonna be a Rashad situation and how I felt in The Trouble with Us, where I just didn't like the male main character at all, but I like the rest of the story. So at this point, that is my prediction, but we'll see. I am about 68% into Finding Forever, I think, and I'm enjoying it, but we're at that part where they're trying to deny that they have feelings for each other, and so they're just doing things that are stupid and counterintuitive and that are just hurting each other and themselves, and I fucking hate that. Another thing that I don't like is that both of them have been in previous relationships where they got hurt. And this is one of my least favorite tropes or whatever themes in romance, where it's like this one person hurt me and now I don't trust anyone and I will never get into a relationship again and I don't think I'm deserving of love and all this other shit. And I'm just like, why are y'all so fucking stupid? Literally just admit you have feelings for each other and be together. It's literally that simple. There is also the aspect of Tori and Desiree, her best friend, and I knew there were some weird things happening there because telling everyone except your best friend that you're getting a divorce doesn't make any sense to me. And so they finally addressed that situation, and there were things that have been building up for quite some time, and then they finally had a conversation with each other. I still don't love the best friend, but I'm glad they had that conversation because it definitely needed to happen. This is the funny thing about being a romance reader, and part of the reason that it took me so long to become a romance reader is I hate certain tropes and elements that are so common, and this is one of them. Like, literally, he went to go give his declaration of love and she set him up on a date, and I'm just like, why would you do that? if I didn't already say this, she is a matchmaker, and even though he was very upset about that because of an experience that he had in the past, his sister convinced him to sign up for her services. So like also trying to match somebody that, one, you've already slept with new clients, and then also just like setting up the person that you're in love with to go on dates with. Like, it's fucking stupid. Why are we doing this? But that's my update right now, and I'll probably update you when I finish this one. And I'm thinking I might be able to go right into the next book. I don't know who the next book is about, but I'll let you know when I do. So I finished Finding Forever, and I'm probably gonna give it like a 2.5 star. Not a huge fan. I don't really like either of the characters. Before I talk more about that, I absolutely love Tori's sister, Melanie, and I'm really hoping that the second book is about her because she is one of the few people in this book that has fucking common sense, and she had been trying to sort of force Avery and Tori together because they are literally making themselves miserable. Like, Tori literally has Avery come to her office and she sends him on a date with another woman while he's under the impression that he's finally going to be able to tell her how he feels. She sends him on a date with another woman, but she's so upset and sad and heartbroken about it that she is physically ill. And I'm just like, why are you doing this to yourself? This doesn't make any fucking sense. I also like Tori's other friend, Renee. She was cool because she also has common sense. But aside from Renee and Melanie, I don't like anybody in this fucking book. But back to Tori and Avery. So Tori's being dumb as fuck, and then Avery spends months building this relationship with this other woman, knowing that he is in love with Tori. And I just don't understand why you would do that, knowing that you are constantly thinking about, still have feelings for, and still want to be with someone else, because now you're wasting both of y'all's time. I never liked Avery because he very much gives fuckboy vibes, and number one, you're too old for that. Two, just because one person hurt you doesn't mean that you have to take that shit out on everybody else. And early on in the book, he said something about not being against convincing a woman to have an affair. I am going to spoil something, so if you don't want to know, skip ahead a little bit. But I also don't like cheating in romance, like, especially when it happens amongst the love interests. Like, if it happens with an ex and you know they're not going to be together, cool. And he didn't cheat on her, he cheated with her. But the fact that he intentionally made that choice, and because her marriage dissolved because her ex-husband cheated, being the woman that he cheated with, none of this is making sense to me. Y'all could have bypassed all the bullshit and just acted like adults and had a fucking conversation in the beginning. So this was not the one for me. 2.5 star, maybe that's generous. And to be fair, this is my 30th read by CCJ. I can't like them all. I really think that there are only two that I like very strongly dislike. It's this and Unfinished Business. And then there's one that I DNF'd, which was Call and Response. So it was bound to happen for sure. But I finished my 30th read. I still have 60 something to go. I was thinking about taking a break and reading an arc, but I'm just gonna go ahead and read the next book in this duology and then I'll take a break. I don't know who this one is about, but I'm hoping that it's Mel because I really like her. So fingers crossed that it's a story that I can get behind. I started Chasing Commitment last night, and much to my disappointment, it's not about Melanie. Instead, it's about Brandon, who was someone that we met in the first book. He's a friend of both Tori and Avery. So Brandon had a big crush on Tori. They've known each other for like 10 years. They see each other at least once a year when she goes to California. And every time he sees her, he's super flirty, right? So this book starts off with the two of them in this diner that he frequents. There is a waitress there that he has a little bit of a crush on, and Tori's like, talk to her, ask her out, get her number, and he's like not doing it. And she's like, what's going on, what happened? And he's like, you happened. And she's like, what are you talking about? And he's like, you chose Avery, I knew you first, and is sitting there pouting. And I'm just like, I know good and damn well that you, a grown-ass man, are not sitting here pouting because you felt entitled to her just because you've known her for a long time. So then Tori, who used to be a matchmaker, is like, first of all, I had no idea that you were even serious any of the times that you were flirting with me because of the way that you did it. Like, when you flirt, it's overly sexual, and so you're complaining about how women only want to have sex with you and not anything further than that, but that's how you act, that's what you give off. And so He eventually sees the waitress, Nadia, I think like at a farmer's market, and he finally asks her out. So they go on their first date and he's doing the same shit. Like he is still being overly sexual and kind of making it seem like that is all that he wants. And I'm just like, you literally just had this conversation with Tori maybe 2 days ago and you're still doing the same shit. And I feel like that's gonna come back to bite him in the ass. And at this point, I just don't like Brandon. I didn't really like him in the first book anyway, but now like being in his head, I kind of still don't like him. Just the I knew you first thing irritated the fuck out of me. Nadia seems fine, but she is sort of like, I guess dealing with the aftermath of a past relationship. We haven't gotten that far yet. I feel like she's going to annoy me. But we'll see how it goes. I'm hoping this one is better than the first one at least. And I mean, at this point, it's really not that hard to do because I hated so many things about the first one. So I don't have super high expectations, but also I feel like it can't get worse. About 50% into Chasing Commitment and I hate Brandon. He is so fucking annoying because he's actually being very hypocritical in his judgment of Nadia, and I don't appreciate that. And then of all people, he's going to Avery for relationship advice, and I'm just like, the man who was in love with someone else and started a relationship with another person? Really? That's okay. That doesn't make any sense, but sure, let's go with it. Ironically enough, I think that the top 3 most disliked MMCs in the entire CCJ universe right now are Rashad, Avery, and Brandon. Can't stand any of them. Nadia is in the process of doing what she needs to do in order to take her architecture exam, and I feel like her ex is about to resurface. We still don't know the full story there, but I feel like it's not going to be good because she moved states. So was probably pretty terrible, but I'm sure he'll pop up. We love that. So I mean, like, the book right now is fine. I don't hate it, I just really dislike Brandon. I see this probably being a 3-star read, but I will provide another update when I finish it. I finished Chasing Commitment 2 days ago and just realized that I never filmed the final clip. I didn't like this one either. The characters pissed me off because in addition to not liking Brandon, Nadia did something that was stupid and there was no valid reason for it. And another thing about this book, I'm going to spoil something, so if you don't want to know anything, skip ahead, but I did not like the way that infertility was talked about in this book. Nadia has endometriosis, so she ended up having to get a hysterectomy because that is what was recommended by her doctors. And her ex basically made her feel like she owed him a child, which is fucking disgusting and weird. And then she doesn't tell Brandon that she can't have children when he starts asking, how do you feel about kids? And what was the point? Because of course that caused a whole bunch of drama, but what was the point? And as someone who also can't have kids, but by choice, that's something that I tell people very early on because I understand that not everybody feels the same way about it as I do. I don't give a fuck how you feel, but I'm gonna let you know so that you can decide whether or not you want to do this or not. And if you don't, that is totally fucking fine with me. But I just feel like that led to unnecessary conflict. On top of that, she, for whatever reason, feels that she needs closure with her ex, despite the fact that she quite literally ran away from him, like disappeared and moved to a different state without telling him, but for whatever reason kept her keys to his house. And so she goes and says, we need closure, blah, blah, blah. And he kisses her and she lets him. And then I'm just like, cheating again? Or why? So I actually ended up disliking this even more than Finding Forever, which is fucking crazy. Also, Brandon has the tendency to throw a temper tantrum every time something doesn't go his way or every time his little feelings are hurt. And in situations where he constantly complains that Nadia doesn't open up to him, and then she opens up to him about her past, and instead of being like, oh, okay, now I understand why you act this way or why you did this one thing or, you know, why you think a certain way, he starts getting upset and is like, I don't understand why she can't just let him go. She's mine now, blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, you literally complained about her not telling you anything, and then she does and you throw it in her face. Anyway, I'm taking a break. I'll probably pick up the next series in a month or so. I don't know what the next series is off the top of my head, but yeah, this one was not the one for me. I wish that I had just skipped this one, and I honestly wouldn't recommend it. I don't condone cheating, and that happens in both books, and that's fucking weird to me. And also, like, there's just so much toxicity and miscommunication, and it's all unnecessary. So this is the first time I've ever really, actually no, this is not the first time, because I also don't think that anybody should ever read unfinished business, but that's just my personal opinion. Proceed with caution if you decide to, but I wouldn't recommend. This morning I was on my walking pad and decided to start the If You Can series. So there's 3 books, and if I'm not mistaken, this series follows one couple. Not sure how I feel about that, but we'll see how it goes. I've heard really good things about this series, so I'm excited to start. But I am a little into the first book, Catch Me If You Can, and we're following Naomi, who, when we first meet her, she is on the run in Paris after stealing some diamonds. And then our love interest is an FBI agent. So that should be interesting. I think I'll enjoy this one, hopefully, maybe. We'll see. I didn't read the synopsis as per usual, so I don't really know what to expect, but I think that this is going to be a good one. This series is romantic suspense, so this will be my first time reading that specifically by CCJ, and I'm excited to see how she does it. If it is 3 consecutive stories just following this one couple, I might not be able to say too much about this other 2 books without spoilers, so we'll see how it goes. I'm excited to read it, but also a little cautious after the last reads. I'm not getting my hopes up. Also, it's just been a terrible reading year so far, so I don't know, but I'll update y'all when I get a little further. So last night I finished Catch Me If You Can and immediately had to start book 2 because it ended on a cliffhanger and I need to know what was gonna happen. So I enjoyed Catch Me If You Can. I rated it 4.5 stars. There were some instances where the characters pissed me off, annoying and unnecessary miscommunication, but overall, I enjoyed it. This second book picks up right where the first one left off, but we are shifting focus to follow a different couple. So in this one, we're following Quentin and Renata. Both of them are hackers. Quentin and Naomi have been friends since childhood, and so they've known each other for a really long time and have been working together since forever. Renata works on Marcus's team, so they all started working together in the last book, and there was a budding romance between the 2 of them, and we're starting to see more in this one. Renata's daughter has been taken by someone that is connected to all 4 of our characters so far, and so we're working on that. That is the new mission. At this point, I like Renata. I am not a fan of Quentin so far. He has done and said some things that irritated me, and I'm hoping that there will be some character growth there, but I don't know. Right now, I'm just not a fan. So I don't know if the 3rd book is going to follow a new couple that gets introduced in this one, or if it will still be a continuation but following all 4 of the characters. Either way, I wouldn't mind. So we'll see how that goes. And then another thing about the audiobooks is that Wesley Siobhan is one of the narrators, and I love her, so that makes them super easy to listen to. But so far so good, so I'm excited. I will probably finish the series pretty quickly. They're pretty easy to listen to, and I think the first one was like 7.5 hours. So I will definitely be continuing, and hopefully I enjoy the other 2 books as much as I enjoyed the first one. Sorry if you can hear my air conditioner. It's like 80 something degrees today out of fucking nowhere. Anyway, I just finished Release Me If You Can, and again, I immediately have to go into the 3rd book because she ended it on a huge fucking cliffhanger again, and this was something that I had suspicions about, but because it kept being like briefly mentioned and then basically just dismissed, I was like, maybe not, like maybe I'm overthinking it, maybe I'm making it too complicated, but it just got revealed, and so now I need to see what's gonna happen and how all this is gonna wrap up. So in this one, the main couple is Quentin and Renata, the hackers, but we do get Naomi and Marcus's POVs, as well as Inez, who is one of Naomi's best friends and works really closely with her and Quentin. She is a complete badass in every way, shape, and form. She's multilingual, she is trained in multiple forms of martial arts and hand-to-hand combat, and she's fucking great. I love her. I think she is going to be the focus of the next book, which is called Save Me If You Can, and I think it's her and Kindle who I'm not sure if he is an FBI agent like Renata and Marcus or if he's former CIA. It's one of those two though, I think. And so I think that we're going to continue to get all of their perspectives, which I actually really like. I know that a lot of people, even if they like dual POV, they don't really love more than that, but the more POVs, the better, in my opinion. So I am really enjoying this. I still would probably give this one also 4.5, just because there were some things in the beginning that I really didn't like, and I really disliked Quentin in the beginning. But I am excited to see how this goes. I think it's gonna be a really good ending. I'm so glad that I'm enjoying the series because I really disliked the last one. But Romantic Suspense by CCJ is wonderful. So I would absolutely recommend that if you can series. I know I'm saying that prematurely because I haven't read the last book yet, but I'm gonna stand by that. But I am in the process of folding laundry and I'm gonna go ahead and start the next book. I have finished the If You Can series and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I rated all of the books 4.5 stars. CCJ does romantic suspense very, very well. It was interesting throughout. I enjoyed all of the POVs. I enjoyed the twist. There were things that I was suspicious about, but she had me second guessing a few times, and then the reveals were pretty great. I really enjoyed that, and I think I'm going to do a dedicated series review for it, so I will probably do that soon. I was planning to end the vlog here. However, the next series on my list is pretty short. All of the books are maybe like 100 pages and audio is like 3 hours or something. So I'm not gonna start that until next month because I need to finish a few other things. But when I get to it, I'll let you know. So I am getting ready to head out in a little bit, but I have started the final series of this vlog. I'm reading CCJ's Eternally Tethered series, and this is 3 paranormal erotic novellas. I'm not a big paranormal person, so I wasn't sure how I was gonna feel about this, but the first book, Haunted, I read it in one day. I listened to the audiobook and I think it's like 3 hours, and I enjoyed it. I rated it 4 stars. In this one, we're following Kalita and Ram, and Kalita is the manager at I guess it's like a club slash bar, Onyx, and she is dating this guy who's like a hotel manager or whatever. But she keeps having these like very detailed visions of this man, and she is not quite sure who this man is or why she's having these feelings, why she's having these premonition-like visions of him. And finally they meet in person and we start unraveling their story, and I'm actually really enjoying it. So this is a series about immortals. The only other thing that I've really read like this was probably African Immortals by Tanina Reed Dew. So excited to see where it goes. I know that the second book is about Kalita's sister. I'm not sure who is going to be the main character in the third book just yet, but I am very interested to see how this goes. And like I said, I'm not a huge paranormal reader, but I do also know that she has, is it Blackwood After Dark? Or something like that. So even if I do enjoy this series and that other one, I don't necessarily foresee paranormal romance being something that I like actively seek out. I don't really think it's my thing. I don't really care for shifters and vampires and things like that, but we shall see. I am definitely keeping an open mind, but so far so good. Like I said, they're novellas, so they're pretty short, so I do plan to hopefully finish the series in the next couple of days. But that's where we're at right now, so I'll let you know when I continue the series. So last night I read book 2 in the Eternally Tethered series, Coveted, and I enjoyed it. It does follow Kalita's younger sister, Anselin, and while I liked it, I didn't like it as much as Haunted, but it does end on a cliffhanger that makes me excited to start the next book, and we will be following a different couple. I now know who that couple is. We get a little bit more of them in this current book. We also get a little bit more of the world and like what's going on. Obviously it is a paranormal series, and so we're dealing with immortals, but there's actually kind of like a really cool backstory to our main characters and why they are where they are and what's happening around them that I am enjoying. So I will probably definitely read the last book. It's called Restored, and I am enjoying these. Like I said, I've been listening to the audio because it's only like 3 hours, and I'm listening on like 1.75 speed because the narrator is kind of slow to me, so I had to speed it up a little bit. But the audiobooks are available pretty much anywhere, including Hoopla and Spotify. So if you do have Spotify Premium and you aren't using your 15 hours of audiobook every month, you should start doing that. But I'm really enjoying this series more than I expected to. I think I rated coveted 3.75 stars. So we'll see how I feel about the last one. But I'm glad that I added this onto the vlog because I'm actually enjoying this much more than I thought I would. All right, so I am currently sprinting with Robin and Monet, and I have finished book 3, Restored. So I am officially done with the Eternally Tethered series, and we have officially come to the end of this vlog. So I rated this last one 3 stars. This one follows Erin, Aram's sister, from book 1, and I liked it, but because, as I mentioned for book 2, the world sort of opens up a little bit more and we learn more about what's really happening, that needed to be resolved. And so I felt like that kind of took away from the romance a little bit, and I didn't really care about all the extra stuff. So there's that. Still a good read, still glad that I read the series. So now that we are at the end of this vlog, I have created like a little progress tracker to keep a little bit more detail about where I am in her releases. So as of today, which is July 2nd, in this vlog, I read 8 of her books, and that brings my total of her backlist to 37. Now, she did release something a little while ago, so that's one new release that I had to add to my unread books, which leaves the amount of books that I have left at 56. So not too bad. At the end of the first vlog, I still had 63 books to read, so definitely making progress. Hopefully she doesn't have a ton of releases this year, because I need to feel like the needle is being moved. I need to feel like we're making some headway here. So hopefully she doesn't have too much going on the back end. I know she's writing, she's been talking about that, but I feel good about where I'm at right now. So hopefully, I'd say if I had to pick like a number by the end of the year, I would definitely want to be under 50. I'm just gonna say under 50 because with the way that my reading has been going this year, anything more than that feels a little too ambitious, but I feel good about that. I feel really good. So that is all that we're gonna do for this vlog. When I start up again, whenever that will be, and I'm not gonna promise you anything, I have a standalone, a trilogy. I'm gonna skip Connecticut Kings for now because it's co-authored and I just don't really feel like dealing with that. So it looks like I'll likely do a standalone and 2 trilogies for the next vlog, whenever that may be. I think by the end of the year, I would at least like to get 2 more done. Since I did 2 in the first half of the year, I'm thinking 2 more for the second half. Maybe, possibly, we shall see. Out of the 3 that I read this time around, would definitely recommend the If You Can trilogy above everything else. If I had to rank them, If You Can, Eternally Tethered, and then Friends and Lovers, which I was not a fan of. Let me know if you have read any of these, if they're on your TBR. Let me know what your favorite CCJ series is. I'm really anticipating High Stakes, Vegas Nights, and a few other ones that I've heard really good things about. So let me know what your favorite is. Otherwise, that is all I have for you today, and I'll see you in the next video.